So the past few weeks, I've been noticing a lot of challenges that are done on YouTube, specifically in the gardening and landscaping community. I was presented with a few challenges and I've just been really tied up and, preoccupied in other things. So I wasn't able to quickly participate. But anyway, I figured I'd take this time out today and run through a few of these challenges. So this one here was presented to me by New Jersey indoor gardener. All right. And it is called the 2020 Garden Lookback. Now, it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's very centered around gardening and vegetable gardening. So let's start. First one, pronounce your channel's name, AJ's Green Thumb LLC. 2, when did you start your YouTube and why? I actually started it several years back, 2016, as I was trying to launch my side business under the name of AJ's Green Thumb. But I actively started posting YouTube videos this past spring. And it was a means of documenting my gardening progress. Like I said, it was also a means of getting exposure for my side business, which is a landscaping consultant within the DMV area. DMV, for anybody who doesn't know, means DC, Maryland, and Virginia. All right, so it was kind of like a video journal to share with, the world. 3, what is your grow zone and state? Maryland, Zone 7A. 4, when did you start your gardening videos? I started my garden videos back in spring 2020. 5, what is your favorite kind of soil or compost? I use a soil conditioner. It's called Leaf Grow. It's locally made and it's just decomposed leaves. And I also like to use Stay Green, and it's decomposed bark, leaves, plant matter, and so forth. And it's really rich. So I use that to plant with outside. And it also has, Stay Green also has a potting mix too. So check out Stay Green. Number 6, how do you grow your food containers? Ground, raised beds. So I use raised beds made of pressure treated lumber. I also use cedar, and I also use pine. So far, so good. They're very durable, very weather resistant, to all seasons, sun, snow, excessive rain so far. And I mean, I've just installed them this past spring. So, it's the first year, but we'll see how that works out in the future. I'll keep you guys updated on that. Number 7, do you own any fruit trees? If so, which ones? I don't, but I do have a couple of shrubs. I have 2 blueberry bushes, and this past summer I planted a blackberry bush. Number 8, do you eat everything in your garden? And if no, why not? I sure do, because I think it makes no sense to plant and nurture and take care of vegetables and fruit if you don't plan to actually eat them. So that's just my opinion. I mean, there's nothing wrong with experimenting, but for the most, if I'm going to put my energy and money and time into something, I'm definitely going to reap the benefits of it. So number 9, what is the best veggie that grows in your garden? So far this past season has been squash, straight neck, and butternut squash. 10, what is the worst veggie to ever grow in your garden? I wouldn't say I've had a a worst veggie. What has performed poorly for me? I really haven't had any bad luck with, knock on wood, any fruits and veg this past season. So, I'll pass on that one. I'll say none. 11, what was your best harvest? Definitely my kale and my spinach and my lettuce this past season. I mean, the kale was just so productive. It was crazy. So I couldn't eat enough of it. What was number 12? What was the worst to grow in the garden? Again, really none. But if we're going to talk about just plants, period, I'll say salvia. We had a very wet season. And I guess because this is my first season of really putting my all into veggie gardening, I've noticed it. I've noticed the extreme moisture this year, but I'd have to say all of my Mediterranean type plants, like my salvia, my lavender, anything that likes it more on the dry side, I kind of struggled a little bit this past season. But other than that, weeds were the worst. Bermuda grass that's my nemesis. Number 13, what is your favorite to eat from the garden? Again, kale and spinach. Number 14, how do you protect your garden? So in this question, it wasn't that specific, so I'll just run through a few things. If it's vermin, like I have a vole issue. At the bottom of the veggie beds, I lay some chicken wire and actually 2 rows of chicken wire. And it's that fine 1-inch spacing chicken wire. I use that. It prevents them from digging up through the bed to get to my roots and my vegetables. And then out in the open garden, I use a castor oil based application. But the thing is about that, you have to keep reapplying. Like I said, we had a very wet season. So anything that I had to apply for anything, I had to keep reapplying it. So I went through a considerable amount of, fungicides and pesticides, all organic, but nonetheless, that was the deal with that. Now, for aphids, I let beneficial predator insects such as ladybugs, praying mantis, spiders, dragonflies, and so on and so forth, let them do their thing. So there is an order out there that I really try not to disturb. And if that means sacrificing some plants for the greater good, then, that's what I do. For Japanese beetles, and I mostly had that issue with them attacking my roses. I spray with an insecticide. The company is called Bonide, but the actual brand, the brand is Bonide, but the name of the actual product, I'm not sure right now, but I could always put that up on the screen or down in the comments below. And then, I may spray my roses religiously, but then after a while, I just kind of sacrifice rose blooms for a couple weeks, because with beetles, there is a life cycle. And so when the heat of summer ramps up, then all of the beetles tend to disappear for the most. 15, name 3 things you had to buy more for in the garden. 1, Espoma Biotone. I use that religiously. I can't get enough of it. 2, steaks. I try to keep certain things staked, so I'm always buying steaks. 3, seeds. 16, name something you would buy again in the garden? Okay, some of these questions are kind of redundant, but number 16 will be espoma biotone. 17, name something you wouldn't buy again. One thing I know I don't need any more of are plastic pots, because the amount of plants that I purchased, I've lost count, and I've got a huge stash behind the shed just with nothing but plastic pots and elsewhere throughout the property. So I definitely got plenty of plastic pots. So 18, name something new you want to buy for the garden. So I want to step my woodworking up, my woodworking game. I want to step that up a notch. So I want to purchase a DeWalt 15 amp corded miter saw. So if anybody wants to send me a gift card or donate, feel free, because I definitely need to get that corded miter saw. 19, name 2 things you're taking out of the garden. Really, at this point in time, nothing. 20, do you have a budget for your garden? Well, this is funny. I tried to budget, but as most gardeners know, and we always impulse shop. So although we may have a budget for a specific project, just in general, I need to do better on that. Number 21, where do you buy your items from? So, I mean, this is various nurseries, big box stores, the Big Orange store, the Big Blue store. Online, I tend to shop on Amazon a lot. And that's not only for plants, but for, tools, irrigation supplies, you name it. Also, I shop online from the Tree Center. I also shop from Holland Bulb Farms. I shop from Brecks, BRECKS, Fast Growing Trees, just to name a few. 22, do you know what fruit and veggies are native to your state? Now this right here, I have to actually do a little research on, because although I know there are several fruits and vegetables that grow well in this region, I am not certain as to what is exactly native. So that's how I'm going to answer this question. In the Mid-Atlantic, stone fruit, okay, like peaches, plums, some varieties of cherries do very well here. Pears and apples flourish, as do several types of hardy figs. And so I'll do a quick rundown of these fruits, the names. So for pears, you got Bosc, B-O-S-C. Peaches, Red Haven, Belle of Georgia. Figs, Hardy Chicago and Brown Turkey, because in Zone 7A and 7B, it's right at the cusp. However, we do get some cold winters. Rarely does it go that far below zero, but sometimes it stays in the teens for a number of nights, and you do get a lot of wind. So you need fruits and vegetables that are relatively hardy to this area. So for figs, like I said, you got the Chicago and the Brown Turkey. Apples, Liberty. Vegetables that do well in the Mid-Atlantic are Scarlet Nantus, carrots, Jersey Giant asparagus, Georgia Jet sweet potato, and German extra hardy garlic. 23, that was a good question, by the way. 23, what is your state known for? So in general, the state of Maryland is known for blue crabs, lots of seafood, you name it. It's home of the Chesapeake Bay, and the large port city of Baltimore. So, it's a major historic trading port, and there's a lot of history surrounding Baltimore since the beginning of the country, basically. Maryland is known also as the birthplace of the national anthem. So a few tidbits, historical tidbits there about Maryland. Does your family help in the garden? Well, sometimes. I mean, if I make it fun and I'm animated about it and I talk about it a lot and I brag about it a lot, especially what the end result is and how everybody will benefit from it, then yeah. 25, did you have any allergic reactions or bug bites while gardening? I really don't have any allergies from bug bites per se, but I mean, other than mosquitoes, you know, everybody gets bitten by mosquitoes, but my regimen is to use plenty of spray-on repellent. So I used to use products that contain DEET, but I read up on that and I noticed that, you know, it is not something you want to regularly put on your body. So I use natural, organic type insect repellent products. 26, name 1 or 2 items you know you have to buy next year. Again, mulch, can't get enough of it, and Espoma Biotone starter fertilizer. So I'm gonna put the link down below for the Espoma Biotone starter fertilizer because it is excellent. It is excellent, and it really stimulates very quick root growth and development. Okay, especially when you're transplanting or planting new young plants. I just use it for everything. 27, how many seed packets do you own? So, I mean, that's too many to count. I've got like 2 shoe boxes full of seeds. You're talking ornamental plants, ornamental flowers, vegetables, fruits. I mean, there's things that I haven't even planted yet. So, you know, stay tuned for that. 28, how have you started, 28 is, have you started saving seeds? Unfortunately, I have not. So I still have a little time to get out there, and I really want to concentrate on saving seeds for my annuals and biannuals. I do have to, speaking of ornamental gardening, I do have to dig up all of my elephant ears and dahlias tubers. So, you know, I'll throw some videos out there shortly on that, probably this coming week. 29, name 3 things you are growing next year. Next year, I'd like to grow a Meyer lemon tree, and the New Jersey Indoor Gardener put me onto that. So I definitely plan to, actually, I might buy 2 and try growing those because, you know, I tend to like lemons a lot. And if I have my own tree, then, you know, that's a win-win. 2, sweet potatoes. I did not plant sweet potatoes this year, and I was kind of disappointed in that because I love sweet potatoes. I was too slow in hitting up all the farmers markets or garden centers for sweet potato slips. Now I know that you can grow store-bought sweet potatoes because I have tried that several years ago with some relatively good success, but this time around I want to do it with known, proven sweet potato slips that are engineered just for, you know, home growing crops. So the third thing is eggplant. I definitely want to try eggplant next year. Growing up, my mom always used to make eggplant parmesan, and I've got to grow my own eggplant. 30, last question here. All right, what types of garden videos do you like? Now, I know this questionnaire is mostly centered around vegetable gardening and so forth, but me personally, I like ornamental gardens, anything on shade gardens, that highlight leaf texture and contrast and compositions and stuff like that. I'm really big into that. I love English style cottage gardening, naturalistic and prairie style gardening. 2, I like fruit and vegetable gardening, obviously. And I like to watch folks' trial and error. I also like regional veggie gardening videos because, you know, it's something that I can relate to because they're growing most often the fruits and vegetables that I like to eat and may do well in this region. So, and 3, I like gardening videos that cover garden projects like woodworking, stonework, anything hardscape related. I also like videos on water features and just, you know, videos that really get your creative juices flowing, you know, so that you think on your scale, you can get out in your yard and probably replicate the same thing. So I really enjoyed this challenge. It was more garden centered. There's another challenge that I will partake in. It is the 40 question challenge. And I guess it's getting to know the garden person on a more a personal level. So look out for that. All right, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you have not subscribed, and also hit that notification bell so that you can get future video indications. Please comment, and be sure to hit that like button. All right, thanks for watching. AJ's Green Thumb.